Hello, I'm back. I'm gonna try and make this fast because I don't know how much time I have. And two, I haven't done a book review in a while. So let's go ahead and review the Star Wars novel Queen's Shadow. This is the first Padme book in a trilogy. This is technically, so this is like in the middle of the trilogy. But this was published first. This is by E.K. Johnson. She's the author. Let's get started. So, overall, I'm giving this a 3 out of 5 stars. And that's shocking for me because I'm a Padme fan. She's my favorite character. I love Padme. I was so excited to pick this book up, but so very disappointed with some of the things. Now, what I like about this book is you get a lot more with Sabe. You get a lot more with Dorme and Corday and some of the other handmaidens that, we're kind of there in the background. And I love that because, you don't have that much time to spend with them. They're not the focus of the films. Padme is technically, when it comes to female characters, she's the focus of the films. So I love that her handmaidens got a lot of character development. I love that even the guard, Typho, got a lot of development. I love watching Padme, struggle from being a queen to a senator. I like that dynamic. I like how her relationship with Mon Mothma and Bail Organa got started. That was beautiful. So many fun and great things in this book. I love seeing the struggle that Padme has between being a senator and wanting to be with her family and have a family herself. That was all well done in this book. I love the idea that Padme tried to free Shmi Skywalker. That was totally in Padme's character. And I had often wondered why no one thought to free Shmi. And I love knowing that Padme at least tried. However, I will say why wasn't that brought up then? During why didn't Padme briefly I tried to free your mom, Anakin, maybe on the way to Naboo and attack the clones, because obviously that's hard to do because George Lucas didn't have that in mind for her, and that's something that the Disney canon has introduced. But it is kind of strange to think of that Padme never mentioned it to Anakin. I know in the Vader comic he doesn't know. He finds out from Sabe years later that Padme tried to free his mom. It's well, that's kind of odd. You think Padme would have mentioned that at some point in their relationship? Why keep that a secret? Oh, I tried to free your mom, but I could never find her. Which is weird again, because if you watch Attack... hold on. So that's what I love about the book. Really quickly, before I get into what I don't like, I want to give a shout out to the audiobook, which is fabulous. Because I had the audiobook play while I was reading this. The music was fantastic. There was a couple weird music choices during a specific scene. I don't know why they chose that specific song from Star Wars, but Catherine Tabor, who is the voice of Padme in Star Wars The Clone Wars, the 3D animated one, was the narrator, and it was fantastic. She did a great job. And I love when they had the little news reports. That's actually a nice touch too that she has. Where is it? So she breaks this book up into parts. So there's part 1, part 2, right? And after part 1, starting in part 2, you get these little news report type of thing, gossip reports. And the way Catherine Tabor performed this was fantastic. Or whenever she did a droid voice, I love it. She's fantastic. Highly recommend the audiobook. It's great. But moving on into what I didn't like. So speaking of looking for Shmi Skywalker, so Padme sends Sabe to find her and one of her other guards. They can never find her. I'm what? All Anakin did when he went to go look for his mom was he went to Watto's old shop. Watto was there. He's where's my mom? A little more than that, but that's the gist of it, right? He's where's my mom? And Watto's oh, I think I sold her. And he's like, okay, well, Watto, where is she? And Watto's like, scared, right? Because Anakin has that angry look on his face that he gets. And Watto's like, let's go look at my records. So first of all, why didn't Sabe go to Watto's shop in the first place? It's like, Shmi Skywalker shouldn't be hard to find. And the sad thing is, this tells me, it's like, how much effort did Sabe put into looking for Shmi? Like, seriously, I can't find her. It took Anakin, like, a couple hours to find her. Like, all you did was go to Watto, give Watto an angry look, and I was like, let me look at my records. I'm like, what? I mean, Watto did say that, you know, mind tricks don't work on him, only money. So if Sabe had some money that wasn't Republic credits, the girl could have gotten the information, let's be honest. Because at that point in time, Watto was probably suffering because he lost his big money maker, which was Anakin, if you think about it, right? He couldn't put Anakin in the pod races. He didn't have Anakin to fix things up for him. So what's he gonna do? But I thought it was utterly ridiculous that they couldn't find Shmi when Anakin did in like a few hours. Seriously. I was like, what? Like, did we watch Attack of the Clones? Did I watch the same movie you did? Because I don't think we did. Speaking of Attack of the Clones. Now, in Attack of the Clones, Padme mentions that she's served for 2 terms, right? She's talking to Anakin, they're walking to meet the Queen, and she's served for 2 terms. Now, I think part of the dialogue was cut in a deleted scene. But as far as I know, that is still canon. She served for 2 terms. According to this book, both of her terms were 2 years apiece. So she served 2 years and then was reelected and served another 2 years. Okay? Yeah? We're good so far? And then Queen Relata takes over. Now, my understanding based on Attack of the Clones, the actual movie, was that it was Queen Jamila who took over from Padme. And the official Star Wars website actually even says this on there. What? Like, you would think they would put Queen Relata took over and then it was Queen Jamila. So because Queen Jamila took over, she's the one who asked Padme to become the senator. Now, I know that Padme's 14 years old in The Phantom Menace. So if we add 4 years, she would have been 4 years, she's 18 in this book, right? So that's how old she is in this book. Because we're basing this off 2 terms, right? Because my understanding is she's recently elected in The Phantom Menace. Okay? So she's 18 in this book. She's 18 serving as senator. I was always under the impression that Padme would have been at least 22 when she started serving. Because I thought as the queen, they were serving 4-year terms. Sort of like our presidency. And I always thought that's what George Lucas based it on when he does like democratic systems for leaders. Because I know that Palpatine, they mentioned, served past like his term limit, so that's why I thought of that. And she mentions that in her constitution she's only allowed to serve 2 terms, that the people wanted to amend it, or Anakin said that, right, that they wanted to amend it. So I'm really confused as to what's going on with the amount of years that the queen serves, because if that's the case, then shouldn't Jamila be gone from the throne by Attack of the Clones, and it's the queen that's in Revenge of the Sith? Because I think at some point in the Clone Wars, that queen takes over, and then she's queen during Revenge of the Sith, and I don't know. Because it does make more sense for Jamila to be queen first, like in between, than to have someone else come in and take over. So unless I have the wrong amount of time. So if she's any younger than 18, that's crazy to me. Because it's weird to think of a queen having served a term for 2 years or anything less, like even a year. It would be weird, in my opinion. Because then it's like, well, what happens when Raylada's done? Who take over after her, but before Jamila? Right? I don't know. That seems really fishy to me. I don't understand what's wrong with that. And then another thing, again, they have Raylada appoint Padme as senator when it's Jamila. That's a mistake. And when she gets into the Senate, she meets Mina Bonteri. And in the Clone Wars cartoon series, Mina and Padme are friends. Padme even tells Ahsoka that Mina took her under her wing and was her, like, biggest supporter and was a mentor to her. In this book, Mina, half the time, is never around mentoring Padme. In fact, she is doing it a lot based on herself. Like, she's kind of self-learning, right, on how to be a senator. Which, again, contradicts what happens in canon in the Clone Wars. Not only that, speaking of the Clone Wars, Clovis. So, I don't know why Anakin's so jealous of this dude, because Padme did not have a relationship with him. They were not close, like Padme said, right? We were close once. Psh, no, you weren't, girl. He tried to kiss you, you didn't like it, and he said no, and that was that. And then he was gone. It's like, why was this dude so in love with her? Like, why did he want to bring back that relationship when there wasn't one anyways? And they worked together for, like, a day, and that's it? That was the relationship? I don't think so. Because what does Anakin have to be so jealous of? Jealous to the point where he beats up Clovis. And, like, Anakin got pretty controlling at times when Clovis was around. Like, that behavior doesn't make sense to me if she didn't have, like, I mean, I'm not justifying his behavior, by the way, but I'm just saying, like, character-wise, like, you knew why Anakin was acting that way. Does it make it right? No. But I knew why, because she had had a previous relationship with this guy, and he was jealous because of that. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have any previous relationships, so I guess he assumes Padme didn't either. But whatever. That's a big mistake too. So it's just kind of crazy. Also, Padme goes on this mission where they send a Jedi with her, and it's Depa Palaba. I love the idea of having her be the Jedi, first of all. Not dismissing that. I like having more Jedi get a chance to shine. And Depa Palaba is also a female character and a character of color, which is fantastic. So she's getting more character development in that way, or getting more moments where she's getting to do things besides sitting around in the Jedi council chambers. However, you know, Palpatine's the one that suggests bringing a Jedi. You'd think he would have used this opportunity to just make Padme and Anakin come together. I know Anakin, he's 14 now, right? Because she's 4 years older than him, so 14, she's 18. It'd be really weird, but you would think he would try and, like, put Obi-Wan and Anakin and, like, try and whisper in it, hey, I think she has a thing for Obi-Wan. You know what I mean? Like, be that manipulative and groom Anakin even more and make Anakin even more, like, paranoid and jealous and all that stuff. Like, that would actually add a lot to that scene in episode 3. Why did he all of a sudden not trust Padme? Why did he think, you're with Obi-Wan now? Like, right? I love Anakin. I love the guy. But, whew, he had his problems. Anyways, overall, enjoy the book. It's fun. If you want to read more about Padme, I do suggest it. Just keep in mind, there's mistakes in here. Really simple mistakes, which doesn't make any sense why you would have those mistakes. Because all you need to do is pop in a DVD of the Attack of the Clones, or The Phantom Menace, or pop in the Clone Wars DVDs, and you got all that information there. It's right there. I mean, If someone told me, you're going to write a Star Wars book, make sure you do your research, and I'm going to be like, I get to watch Star Wars as a job? Sign me up. Another thing that I thought was weird, is this a new thing? Like, do people not acknowledge George Lucas anymore? So here's the acknowledgments. Can I read this to you? All right, ready? I've been waiting for this book for 20 years, and I'm endlessly thrilled I got to write it. It could not have happened without the generous help of several people. Josh Adams, Jen Hiddle, those are fine. Emily Meehan, and Patricia Caldwell. Well, those are people that are friends. All right, here we go. The Lucasfilm Story Group and design team who made sure everything worked out. Girl, they did not help you, man. They gave you some wrong information. Although why you didn't just watch it yourself is beyond me. Whatever. Everyone who did art or story for Naboo and Shattered Empire, Forces of Destiny, and Battlefront 2. Okay. And Tara Phillips, who made this beautiful cover. Well, that's actually nice. I like that we're acknowledging her. Here we go. Natalie Portman, Keira Knightley, and Trisha Bigar, who gave me the best 15th birthday present ever, and Kat Tabor, who kept it going. I didn't know Natalie Portman, Keira Knightley, and Trisha Bigar were the director and writer of The Phantom Menace. Color me shocked. I thought that Natalie and Keira were the actresses hired to play the roles of Padme and Sabe, and that Trisha Bigar was hired to do the costumes. That George Lucas told her to design what he saw in his head, and Natalie and Keira, acted and performed the words on the pages that he wrote and followed his direction. Color me surprised that George Lucas is being erased from his own legacy. Because I'm not surprised. It's just awful. It's like, would it be wrong to say, also, thank you to the man that created the character of Padme Amidala and Sabe in the first place, and that is George Lucas. Without him, this entire book would never have been possible. Because guess what? If he never made them in the first place, who the heck are you writing about? Then it's your own personal story, right? That wouldn't have the name Star Wars on it for sure. Star Wars wouldn't exist without George Lucas. Just throwing the tea. Oh, I have a mug here. And that's the tea. There's no tea in this, but it's fitting. That's tea. Anyways, like I said, I'm giving this book a 3 and 5 stars. Those are some big mistakes, guys. Like, that's not like they accidentally said Padme had blue eyes instead of brown. You can let that slide. You know what I mean? But to say that Mina Bonteri wasn't her mentor, or that her and Clovis weren't close and didn't have a relationship, no. That's a big one. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this review. This book, I believe, is still on bookshelves at Barnes & Noble. So if you want to pick it up, it is the paperback. I actually like the hardcover. I like, it had like one side Padme as Queen Amidala and one side Padme as the Senator. I thought that was such a cool design for a cover. This one is just Padme in the Geonosis outfit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so tired of this outfit though. Please put Padme in other things. Come on now. But I do love that cover. I want to find the hardcover of this book, just because I like that cover, honestly. Also, I did enjoy the book, so there you go. But again, seriously, guys, for those who are writing Star Wars books, just watch Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, the Clone Wars cartoon series, the 3D animated one, has Ahsoka Tano in it, A New Hope, Rogue One now, Star Wars Rebels, Solo, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Okay, ready? The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, going after Return of the Jedi now, and The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, now Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. Those are all the things that, as a Star Wars writer, you should be paying attention to, because you need to know what has happened in the story. You just watch that, okay? Watch those. And if there's things that you're missing because maybe it's in a book or a comic, you might want to take a longer time doing research. That's all I'm saying. There's not as many canon books now as they were for the EU back in the day. But yeah, anyways, that's all I have to say. 3 out of 5 stars. Check it out for yourself. Maybe you'll enjoy it more. I don't know. See you next time. And next time, maybe I'll be reviewing Heir to the Empire. I've read it before, but I'm rereading it now. I'm so excited. Bye, guys.